Hello and welcome to another episode of What Travis Says. My name is Travis and let's talk about Doctor Who. More specifically, my personal list of what I feel are Peter Capaldi's 5 worst Doctor Who episodes. We all know that there are great Doctor Who episodes with bad moments and bad Doctor Who episodes with great moments. And a few weeks ago I did a video on my list of Peter Capaldi's top 10 best Doctor Who episodes, but this video is about the episodes that are on the other end of the spectrum. And these opinions may or may not have been my first impression upon initial viewing, but upon multiple viewings. Also, keep in mind that this video is being posted before this year's Christmas special, a Peter Capaldi Doctor Who episode which may or may not ever end up on this list. And I'm sure you will have a list that's different than mine, so in the comments down below at the end of this video, leave your list of the top 5 worst Peter Capaldi Doctor Who episodes in your opinion. So since I'm counting down the 5 worst, it will be so bad to the worst. I love Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, but some of these episodes, the stories, are just not good. Number 5. Kill the moon. We need to destroy the moon because it will destroy all life on Earth. But wait, the moon is actually an egg of a creature, so what do we do? What a conundrum. Which makes absolutely no sense because, well, there are way too many scientific inaccuracies to even count. Sure, Doctor Who is a show that you can watch and suspend disbelief. It's for entertainment purposes. You can, you can get away with some stuff that doesn't have to be scientific. But science aside, what was even the metaphor? Was it anti-abortion? Was it about protecting other life forms? Just there was so much going on and so much confusion. The Doctor gives the keys of the future to Clara so that she can make the decision. He essentially takes his hands off the wheel and says, here, you do it, you decide, I'll just watch, which is very different than the Doctor that she's used to going on adventures with. But my big question about that episode is, how could a newborn baby space alien lay another egg that quickly? Just how does that work? They lay an egg immediately and then that egg stays in the sky for thousands of years or hundreds of years. There's so many questions that I don't even care to have answers to. Number 4, in the forest of the night. There's no bad guy, it's just boring. There are solar flares and trees. And in the end, the trees disappear and life goes on. End of episode. It had a very eco-friendly message, obviously, but much like Kill the Moon, it was very confusing. And did I say boring? It's essentially Kill the Moon all over again. Nature does its thing, and humans have to figure out what to possibly do. And there's no real bad guy. Something that Kill the Moon actually had that in the Forest of the Night was lacking was some sort of threat. The whole episode is school children are walking through a forest, surprised at the fact that they're walking through a forest. And you're telling me that no one on the planet saw these trees appearing in any time zone? That makes about as much sense as no one staring at the Statue of Liberty so it can lumber through New York City as a weeping angel. There's that little add-on about there being a solar flare and the trees just popped up to save the planet, but then afterwards they just disappear and poof, everything goes on as normal. Somewhat. Number 3, Robot of Sherwood. Okay, with this episode, I get what they were trying to do. Robin Hood and the Doctor are both fictional characters that actually exist in real life, just as larger-than-life legends. It's a neat idea for a concept, I'll give them that, but the execution was pretty far off. While some fans see the Robot of Sherwood as a fun romp in the woods, other fans look at it as an embarrassment, especially Clara's flirting. Oh sure, the Doctor and Robin Hood get some playful, sarcastic jabs at each other, and the Doctor sword fights with a spoon. It's all good fun. But that's all the episode has going for it. A lot of the points were just forced and weirdly executed, and the title gives a lot away. You know what to expect, just in a certain weird sort of way. I feel like it told too much. Number 2, The Caretaker. Now, this episode almost didn't make the list for the sole reason that I nearly forgot that it even happened. You know, it's one of those the Doctor is pretending to be a human episode. Tennant had one, Smith had a couple, Eccleston, well, a lot of his episodes actually took place on Earth, so that hardly counts. There was a killer robot on the loose. The Doctor had to go undercover. He talked about that time that he lived with otters. Do you remember that? No, you don't, because that episode was so forgettable. The Doctor lived among otters for a month. He and River had this big fight, but anyway. The episode was created for the sole reason of the Doctor meeting Danny Pink. Oh, but wouldn't it be hilarious if the two men in Clara's life just didn't get along? It wasn't. And finally, my #1 worst Peter Capaldi Doctor Who episode, Extremis. If you've watched my channel during the past year, you know why Extremis is going to be #1 on this list. It was just completely and utterly pointless. And I don't even dislike this episode because of Capaldi's acting. I feel like his acting has been solid in every single Doctor Who episode, but Extremis, this story is just something else. It kicked off an experimental trilogy, which I have to give them credit for, that they were willing to try, that they were willing to push the envelope a little bit and do something like this. But the execution in the Monk trilogy was just flat out horrendous. Just so many loose ends, so many questions, so many unpursued avenues, so many open doors that nobody bothered to walk through. There was so much wrong with the story of Extremis, and in the end, it didn't even matter because none of it was real. There was a bit of exposition with Missy and Nardole, but that could not even save this episode. And then at the end of the episode, Simulation Doctor uses simulation sonic shades to warn actual real Doctor of what exactly? That the monks are a thing? Because then immediately, boom, they show up. So then, again, what even is the point? Also, if the monk simulation was so sophisticated that sonic shades could transcend the simulation to the real world, then why couldn't the TARDIS translate languages into English? Oh, there's just so many questions about that story. I don't want to think about Extremis anymore. I've gone in too deep. I had so many hopes that some loose end was going to be tied up after this Monk trilogy with simulation and everything, and that it was just so frustrating. Nope, you know what? I'm done thinking about Extremis. This was the worst Doctor Who episode that we've gotten in a very long time. But hey, you don't have to believe me or agree with me. In the comments down below, leave your 5 worst Peter Capaldi Doctor Who episodes, the ones that you liked the least, the ones that are on the end of your spectrum of Doctor Who episodes involving Peter Capaldi. If you missed my list of my top 10 best Peter Capaldi Doctor Who episodes, I'll leave a link to that down below. You should go check that out. But as always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me tomorrow.